Hello everybody, this is Nate with Kruxn Studio, and this is Mealworms Made Easy. Please read the description below for some more information. Now your first step for taking care of mealworms is your supplies. You want to have some plastic drawers, some oatmeal, cardboard, another food source for moisture, this being carrot, a plastic spoon, and some kind of sifter. Once you have all your supplies, you go ahead on to the next step. First, you need to be prepared for all three stages of the mealworm. First being larvae, then pupae, then beetle form. To set up for your first stage in the mealworm, being the actual mealworm, you want to dump your oatmeal into your drawer and cover it about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Now the key here is floor space, not depth. These drawers are a little bit small, but I'll show you some of my larger ones in a minute. The next stage in the mealworm's life is the pupae. Now with warmer temperatures of around 80 degrees, you'll achieve this within a few weeks. Now the warmer the temperatures, the better chance you'll have. Once they turn to pupae, you want to go ahead and separate them from the drawer. And to do this, you just search the top, because usually the pupae will be right on the top. Now this may seem like a tough task, but it's fairly simple to locate them. They are very similar to color. With a little practice, you'll be able to spot them very quickly. Once you see the pupae, you go ahead and take it out carefully. Usually, I just use my plastic spoon. This makes it very easy. And you just go through the whole drawer until you find all your pupae. Now, this drawer has relatively few pupae. This is one of my older drawers. Once you have the pupae taken out, I recommend putting it in a separate location. This protects them from being munched on by other mealworms. Now for this, I used the bottom half of a 1-gallon milk jug. I did this because it's an easy way to separate them, and I can move them around between my drawers very easily for separating large populations. Once you have that, you go ahead and add the pupae you pulled from your drawer and just dump it in. In here, it'll be another few weeks before they turn into beetle form. Once your pupae start turning into beetles, you'll want to remove them and put them in a separate bin. Now to remove them, you do pretty much the same thing as you would do to remove a pupae. I use, once again, my plastic spoon. And I just gently go in here and I scoop them up. And once I collected them all, I'll go ahead and move them into my beetle bin. Once you start producing some beetles, you want to go ahead and set up a proper beetle bin. Now, it's pretty much the same as the mealworms. You want a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of oatmeal, and this provides a food source and a place to lay eggs. And the only difference between the mealworms and the beetles is your cardboard. Add the cardboard and you're set to add your beetles. Once you have your drawer set up and you've added your mealworms to the drawers, you want to maintain a healthy population by making sure they have proper nutrition. Now the oatmeal does provide a valuable food source, but you also want to supply a moisture source, this being in the carrot or lettuce or potatoes you add. Now I prefer carrots and lettuce because they don't mold quite as easily, so I can leave them in there longer without removing them. When you go to add your food source that supplies moisture, you go ahead and just gently set them on top or bury them a little in the oatmeal to supply easier access for them. And after a few days, when they start drying up or going bad, you go ahead and remove them as well. And you do this the same for your beetle drawer. You could just set them on top and the beetles will go right for them. As you can see, they waste no time in getting to their food source. Now that you're supplying your mealworms and beetles with proper nutrition, you go ahead and work on maintaining your drawers. And you do this because this helps produce healthy populations of mealworms. Now with your mealworm drawer, you want to go ahead and find any pupae in there and remove them before the mealworms have a chance to start munching on them. With practice, this becomes easy to do. You can go ahead and use your plastic spoon, just like you were before, and gently scoop them up. And I'll be moving them to my 1/2 gallon of milk carton later. And you repeat this process until you have all your pupae from all your drawers. Now for the beetle drawer, you want to go ahead and remove dead beetles. This helps reduce the smell of your drawers, as well as maintains a healthy environment for them. And dead ones are usually easy to spot. They won't be moving, their legs will be curled up a little bit. You can go ahead and just remove them like you would. And I just toss them in the trash later on. At this time you could also go ahead and remove any dead food items as well. These will be usually shriveled up and dried out. Now if you have any mold in there, you want to remove it as quickly as possible, because this is a sure way to kill them off. Another thing you want to check for is baby mealworms. Once you had a beetle drawer going for a while, you'll start to notice little mealworms. And you check for them by looking under the oatmeal. And you can usually pull it back and search for really small little mealworms. Now you won't be able to see them at first, but once they start getting larger, you will be able to see them by looking real closely. Now I don't have any in this drawer right now, so I'll let this go for a few more weeks till I start to notice them. Once you notice them, you go ahead and start removing your beetles from this drawer and move them into a fresh new drawer to repeat the process. And you do this once again by using your plastic spoon, and you can just scoop them up and move them to their new drawer. This process is long, but it's the most effective way to do this. Another tip is, once they start eating, it's easy to find them. As you can see, I could easily capture 40 to 50 in one swoop and move them to the next drawer. Your final step for maintenance does not have to be done quite as often, but is still very important. You occasionally want to go through your drawers with your sifter. You want a very fine sifter because you're looking to remove any frass. Here's a quick image of what your frass will look like. This side's your oatmeal, which is how it should look. But eventually, you'll start getting a layer of darker matter, which is really fine dust-like. And it's at the bottom of your mealworm drawers and beetle drawers. This is basically a layer of poop and dirt. This is removed by sending it through your sifter. To sift it, you simply dump out the mealworm drawer over a bucket and you put it through the sifter. You shake it out, and all the larger pieces, oatmeal pieces and mealworms, will remain on top, and you can dump that back into a fresh drawer. If you found this video helpful, please rate it and subscribe. You can also comment below and I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Thank you for watching, and once again, this was Nate with Kruxn Studios.